Is getting the Security Plus certification from CompTIA enough to land a job in cybersecurity? This is one of the questions that always comes up from anybody trying to get into cybersecurity, but especially from people that are brand new to the tech industry, which means they have no experience in IT, help desk, or anything like that. First, let's talk about one of my students and mentees that I've worked with. We'll just call this student Alice to hide their identity. Alice was in the same situation as where you're at, where she didn't have any previous experience in cybersecurity, IT, or help desk. She was literally brand new to the industry and trying to break into the career field within the next few months, if not sooner. After doing some research online, Alice came across a list of the best cybersecurity certifications to get, and on that list was a Security Plus. Alice also found some random influencers stressing that if you get the Security Plus, then you'll be golden and easily be able to land a job directly in cybersecurity. After dedicated study and preparation, Alice was able to successfully pass her Security Plus certification exam in under 2 months and could now celebrate. She quickly threw together a resume with a boilerplate template that she found online and started applying to all the cybersecurity jobs that she could find on the internet. Unfortunately for Alice, she never received any calls for interviews. But why was that? Well, Alice continued doing additional research where she discovered my content and career coaching sessions. She quickly booked a session to meet with me in my next available time slot. When Alice and I hopped on the call to talk about her situation, I noticed a few different things. First, we started talking about different topics because I want to see what level of knowledge that Alice actually had. Although Alice had successfully passed her Security Plus certification exam, she actually lacked a solid foundation in both operating systems like Windows and Linux and how networks operate, even though she knew a few things about securing them. Second, Alice showed me her resume and it wasn't formatted or worded in a way to highlight the things that she brought from other experiences and jobs. This can be a challenge when you don't have a lot of experience and you can't relate to how technology professionals are going to read your resume. Third, Alice had great communication skills that she developed from previous work experience and from previous education training that she had. So the ability to communicate overall didn't seem to be an issue. Overall, it's very clear that Alice's roadblocks to getting into cybersecurity were that she needed more knowledge and skills and to improve her resume. We immediately turned to my career roadmap in my free ebook that you can find on my website to guide Alice in her journey. This improved her knowledge and skills so that not only did she know more, but she could also talk about what she actually knew. We practiced mock interview questions covering a variety of subjects and what to do when you don't know the answer to a question. Alice also took it upon herself to land an entry-level IT job so that she could continue to gain valuable experience as we progressed her IT and cybersecurity knowledge. Of course, we also worked on improving her resume to stand out to employers. This whole process took about a year, but Alice was able to successfully land a job in cybersecurity because of all that work that we did in preparing. The main reason that I wanted to share this story with you is because it's very rare that one single certification is going to give you everything that you need for a particular job. Often certifications will assume that you have a certain level of knowledge, and while you might not always need that underlying knowledge to actually pass the exam, that doesn't mean that you're adequately prepared for the related jobs. This is even more true for entry-level roles. I want to show you what the Security Plus focuses on, and then we can talk about some of the other things that it doesn't cover and that might be relevant. Okay, so this is the CompTIA website. If you go to certifications, and then we find Security Plus, and we click on that. Okay, if we start scrolling down here, we'll see a little bit more information about the Security Plus. So specifically, what skills are you going to learn? Attacks, threats, and vulnerabilities, architecture and design, implementation, operations and incident response, governance, risk, and compliance. Now, if you keep scrolling down here, you'll have this section where you can actually fill it out and it will give you more information about the Security Plus exam objectives. So this is the PDF that you'll get when you actually fill this out. And if we scroll down here, we'll be able to see more about this specific exam. So you can see they actually give you the percentages of the breakdown for the domains on the exam. Now, I'm not going to go through every little section of the objectives. I highly recommend that you actually do that, and you'll be able to see that it really just focuses on the security aspect of things. It's not going to spend a ton of time getting you spun up on how networks or how that technology works in a normal circumstance. It's just going to focus on things like the attacks and how to secure those different appliances or technologies. So keep that in mind. It is very focused on that security aspect. It's not going to build you up from the ground zero where you actually should be starting. So this is the website for the Network Plus, and I want to scroll down here and show you. This is really focused on getting you spun up from the ground on how networks work. So networking fundamentals, network implementations, network operations, network security. So you get a little brief explanation of how to implement some security. Network troubleshooting. So how to troubleshoot things when they're not working. So this is going to build you up from the ground, and then the Security Plus builds on top of what you already know. So again, just like with the Security Plus, you can fill out the exam objectives and you can get a downloadable PDF of what's included on the actual exam. But keep that in mind. That's the distinction between the two different certifications. You have one that's going to build you up in the Network Plus from ground zero, and then you have the Security Plus, which is going to build on top of that knowledge that you should already have. As I said earlier, it's very rare that a certification is going to give you everything that you need for a specific job, and simply passing a certification doesn't mean that you're ready for that job. Much of what you'll learn in certifications builds on top of other areas, because if you're adequately prepared, then it's unnecessary to actually relearn those lower level topics. I also want you to keep in mind that different jobs, departments, or companies are going to have different requirements, so you shouldn't be afraid to apply to several jobs. And in fact, you should be applying to a lot of jobs to see which opportunities open up for you. Let's take a look at a few job postings so you can see what I look at when I'm looking at jobs. If you're enjoying the video so far, make sure to leave a like so that YouTube knows this content is helpful for other people. Also, make sure to subscribe to the channel. That way you get notified when future content drops. Last but not least, make sure to check out the description for resources related to this video. All right, let's get back to the content. Okay, so what I did was I went to Indeed.com, which is a popular job searching platform here in the United States, and I searched for entry and cyber and security, so it will look for those keywords in the job posting. And I went ahead and I pulled up a few different examples. So this is the first one. It's just an analyst, cybersecurity ops. And if we scroll down here, we'll see a little bit more about what they're looking for. So they do list some different technologies here that are desired experience requirements. And then if we look at the actual education and experience, they prefer a bachelor's degree, 0 to 3 years of experience actually working in the field. So obviously that's an important experience requirement, or an important point in the job posting that you have to look for and kind of align that with your background. Typically for me, I tell people if it says 0 to 3 years of experience, apply. So if it says 3 years of experience, apply. 2 years of experience, apply. 0 to 3 years of experience, apply. That's because those are considered entry-level roles, and depending on the candidates that that company gets, they'll have to go through those candidates and select what they think is going to be the best fit. As you can see here, though, in this specific job posting, I didn't see anything about certifications. So keep that in mind. They aren't always a requirement. Go to the next one. This is from Deloitte, and this is a cybersecurity engineer. So we'll scroll down here and see what they're looking for. This one's 2 to 3 years of experience with risk management framework. So keep that in mind. Bachelor's degree is what they listed on here. And this is definitely going to be dealing with the federal space. And you can see, because typically when you see some things like this or risk management framework, those are just specific things that are related to that area. And honestly, you're not really going to know that unless you know exactly what those are. But that's just an understanding that you should kind of gain as you apply to some of these jobs. And of course, they talk about security clearance. So that's kind of another dead giveaway. Now, this one does list some actual certifications in here. So the CISSP, CEH, the CISM, the CISA. So it's pretty interesting because they list these certifications, which specifically the CISSP, CISM, and CISA all have experience requirements to actually qualify. So 2 to 3 years of experience is kind of the minimum that they're listing. Again, if you are entry level, you have no experience, I would still apply to these. But this is probably going to be a little bit on the higher end of the entry-level job requirements, because they are listing a little bit more experience as far as what they would like, and some of these specific tools that honestly the only way you get experience with those tools is by actually being in that environment. There's no real way to get around that. Those are not tools that are available to the public. If we go to the next one, this is a cybersecurity analyst, again listed as an entry-level role. And a lot of times too, you can tell by the pay. The lower the pay, the more likely it is very much an entry-level job. If it has a 6-figure income or 6-figure salary that's listed in the job posting, even if it's listed as entry-level, there's a high probability that it's not really entry level, or it might be on the higher end of the entry level jobs. So if we scroll down here, this one really doesn't give much, right? This is a contract job, part-time listed at, but $15 to $25 an hour. Honestly, this is kind of one of those that I wouldn't apply to. I don't know why jobs show up on sites like Indeed or LinkedIn that are like this, where they literally don't list anything. Because honestly, that's just annoying and that doesn't tell you anything about that job. And the next one is entry-level cybersecurity consultant 2023 for IBM. So this is probably kind of a career development kind of position where they're looking to grow somebody in this. Now they do list some different tools and technologies that they want experience for. And really what I'm looking for is any kind of certifications. This is kind of general stuff that you should have in any kind of role. And then there we go. There's some different certifications that they list. So again, whenever it lists 0 to 3 years of experience, I would just apply, let them deal with it, and make the decision on who they're actually going to hire. $60,000 is pretty reasonable for an entry-level role. $178,000 is not going to happen. So I just don't know why companies are doing this craziness. I hate seeing these massive salary ranges, especially on entry-level roles, because for instance, $60,000 to $178,000 for IBM, give me a break. You're not going to pay somebody $178,000 for an entry-level role. Why would you list that? That's just ridiculous. If I was going to give you advice, I would probably steer clear of any companies or job postings that are doing that, because that's a deceptive practice. And personally, I think it's kind of shady. So shame on them for doing that. Question of the day. Which certification are you studying for right now or are you going to study for next? Why did you choose that certification? Let me know down in the comment section below. Keep in mind that everybody's going to have a different journey based on a lot of different factors. One person might have 0 certifications and land a great job, or you might need a few certifications to land that same type of job. With that being said, if you're doing the right things and continuing to progress, you're going to find great opportunities in this industry. Ultimately, we love people who are driven and they want to succeed. As always, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the description for resources related to this video, and I'll see you next time.